In this video, we're going to talk about all the other social advertising platforms. Can you and should you advertise on them? Number one is, can you? Of course you can. You have learned everything that there is to know pretty much about advertising on social media in general, not just Facebook and Instagram, because Facebook and Instagram currently have the most sophisticated social media advertising platforms. So any other platform that you're going to encounter, and I'll show you a few examples in a second, will just have the same features, maybe a few less, right? So in this video on other social networks, we'll discuss pretty much the other social networks, right? So let's jump to LinkedIn straight away, and you go here to advertise, and you will get to see the LinkedIn advertising platform. You might need to sign up or something like that, but once you create yourself a new account, we can call this test group, and we're gonna just save it as a draft, and we don't want to set a start or an end date. We're just gonna click this as today, and you will see that you already know all of these things, right? First of all, you're going to select your objective, and while we're at the idea of objectives, I just want to mention a few of the key differences that you should be looking for in each platform. So first of all, targeting options. Who are the people who you can reach? And if you open any of the other ones, you will see pretty much on their homepage a lot of information about their platform. And of course, you can research a lot more like what the platform is about, but that's something like common knowledge, right? People on TikTok are dancing and doing crazy videos. People on Snapchat are doing other stuff. And there's like, if you just scroll and see, there's mostly millennials and Generation Z people on Snapchat. It's pretty much easy to figure out what the audience is. And you would kind of innately know that. Like, for example, LinkedIn is a much more professional network where you can find much better targeting options in terms of professions and career targeting, and kind of target people based on their profession and their resume and their achievements and so on, everything that they have provided as data to LinkedIn. And of course, you can definitely be using LinkedIn to maybe hire people or find high net worth individuals, maybe close customers, use it for leads, while you can use Pinterest, TikTok, and Snapchat for more like traffic and e-commerce campaigns, and Twitter for kind of awareness campaigns, or whatever you decide, right? So first thing that you should be looking for in different platforms is how is the targeting different? And we'll take an example with LinkedIn, but that kind of same concept applies to pretty much all the rest. They're just going to have different or less targeting options than Facebook. And you should consider that in some cases, the targeting options might be better, like for example with LinkedIn and the job targeting. If you want to target specifically digital marketers, LinkedIn is just going to have a more accurate data. But this takes me to my next point, is that different platforms are going to have different CPMs and different pricing models. So social media platforms are mostly targeting or kind of selling ads on a cost per mil basis or a cost per 1,000 impressions. So you're going to be paying for impressions anyway. But you should consider that in some platforms like LinkedIn, they might be more expensive than Facebook because of their more targeted audience. And that might be completely fine. You might get better CPAs over there, but you should know that they are differing in many, many cases. And another thing is kind of the social specifics of the platform, the content that is actually relevant and viable for that platform. If you take LinkedIn, for example, you would have a lot more professional content, maybe a lot of educational content could fly very well on LinkedIn, while if you try to post educational content on TikTok, it might not work as well, and you might need to figure out other strategies. And for example, for Pinterest, you need to have, beautiful photos of your products or services and kind of more pinnable things, right? So let's take a look at what we have in LinkedIn, for example. You can see we have less objectives, right? We have brand awareness, we have traffic, and you can clearly see that this was based on Facebook's platform, right? First, you choose your objective, and you have website visits, engagement, and video views, lead generation, website conversions, and job applications, pretty much like in Facebook. The pixels work in pretty much the same form. Of course, you need to set that up just like everywhere. I'll choose website conversions for this one, and then you need to target your audience. You can, of course, save your audiences. As you can see, I have certain saved audiences here, and I have one for digital marketers. And you have your location targeting, which works in pretty much the same way. And you can choose, different countries. Let's say I'll choose the United States and United Kingdom for this case. And you also have options to exclude. You can narrow your target audience with different audience. You have lookalikes, you have retargeting third party, you have audience attributes like demographics, education, job experience, and so on, which are pretty cool, by the way. You can target by job functions, job seniorities, things that you can't do on Facebook. That's what I mean by you going through the targeting options and actually taking a look at what these targeting options are. But everything that you've learned in this course applies to LinkedIn and TikTok and whatever next thing gets to come up in the next few years. Doesn't matter. You know the basics, and you can apply this knowledge, and you will actually probably make better campaigns than most people, like maybe 90% of people, because you actually know how to do everything correctly. And of course, you can see directly stolen from Facebook audience expansion and all of that. You can really use this tool to target better. And again, moving on, you have different ad formats, but how different are they really? You have single image ads, carousel ads, video ads, text ads, spotlight ads, message ads, and conversion ads, right? It's conversation ads, pretty much the same as Facebook. So they kind of copied everything, but they have a different audience, different people coming on their website for a different purpose, and they are going to have different pricing, meaning that you're going to encounter different CPMs. If, for example, in LinkedIn, the audiences tend to be a lot more expensive. But if you go to Pinterest, Pinterest can get you a much lower CPM, much lower traffic. And if you can actually target the right audience on Pinterest, that can get you good conversions. So now, should you wait or not to start using a specific new social media platform that comes up, and maybe their advertising platform is not very good? A good example of that is TikTok. They just recently launched their platform. Now, I would suggest you do either one or the other, right? You don't want to kind of go in the middle. So if you are going to try it out, better start from the very beginning. Like right now is a good moment to test TikTok, because you can get incredible amounts of traffic from a relatively targeted audience to your website. And then when it comes to campaign sophistication, you might not be able to create campaigns as sophisticated as you can on Facebook or Google Ads for that matter, but you can include these campaigns whenever that fits into your marketing mix. So you might still do maybe your awareness and cold audience campaigns on TikTok, but you can then retarget those people on Google Ads or Facebook as well. So you can kind of think them as part of your social media ads campaigns, right? So you just like you can tick Instagram on your Facebook campaigns, you can just go to TikTok, register, make an account, and create your campaign, maybe a traffic campaign there, or like a simple conversions campaign that will get people to your website, but you can then use remarketing and other sophisticated campaign to target these people on Facebook much cheaper, right? So that can help you grow your audience. And sometimes new advertising platforms have very few advertisers and an incredible amount of traffic. So you can get, 1 cent clicks and, $2-3 conversions just because even if you get a lower conversion rate, you get huge amounts of traffic and you can still get better CPAs than your developed platform like Facebook or Google Ads, right? So that's why I recommend that you test them out as early as possible and include the others as well. So if you need to make a bit of a more sophisticated campaign, you can add the sophistication on Facebook and Google, but you can also use the other social networks to advertise over there. And again, take a look. Snapchat is good. Again, they have a lot of traffic, very few advertisers. Twitter is kind of the same, and you will see again the same thing with the objectives and so on. Now they can do a few other things, like for example, you can go for your Twitter followers over here, or for engagements, maybe app installs. It's kind of good for apps, better for apps than most. And then website clicks is another one. But for example, one that I don't see here is conversions, right? So might not be great for e-commerce campaigns, but even if you just go with the traffic objectives, the traffic may be cheap enough for you to get very good CPAs, right? It might not be the case. It will stop being the case at some point when a lot of advertisers start using it. But by that time, the platform will probably develop and add functionalities that can help you optimize your campaign. That's kind of the general problems with new advertising platforms, is that they don't have a sophisticated enough platform for you to optimize very well and target very precisely. But as they grow, more advertisers come into the platforms, the CPMs start to raise, but they also add the added sophistication. And because you are a much more knowledgeable digital marketer than the people advertising on these platforms, you can get better performance with the added functionalities than the rest of the people, and you can still get good performance out of them. I generally do recommend that you test LinkedIn. LinkedIn is pretty good, but you should be careful because it is actually quite expensive. It's actually more expensive than Facebook in most cases and for most audiences. So, but that does not mean at all that you can't get better CPAs, right? It's more expensive, but also you get more conversions. So you should definitely test it out and see what are the targeting options, the different ad formats that you can use, and always try to fit that in the social platform in its concept, right? If people are on LinkedIn, they are there for professional reasons, maybe doing sales or so on, maybe learning something, and so consider why people are on the platform, just like we do on Facebook and Instagram. Adjust your marketing to that. And I recommend that you don't wait. You better get the early cheap traffic and include it in your other campaigns and get the sophistication from there. And that's really it. I mean, pretty much everything that you need to know to be able to advertise on these platforms. There might be more that you can learn for Facebook, but you kind of know, you will intuitively know how to work with these platforms. There might be some small things like how to set up your LinkedIn pixel, but I'm sure you can figure that in an hour. It's not going to be a big deal. I would rather recommend that you don't spend the time to watch a specific Snapchat advertising course, but rather just go ahead and test it, make a campaign, figure it out, test it, spend some money on it, rather than wasting your time with other courses. It really makes no sense to create a specific LinkedIn ads course because everything is the same. And once you know the general concepts, you can advertise on any social media network available now, or even the ones that come in the future. So just go ahead and try them out. They might fit very well in your campaigns. take a look at the targeting options, apply the concepts that you learned in this course, and I'm sure you'll be successful. And if you're not, you can always use the Discord to ask questions, and we'll always be there to help you out.